T, would you please take this microphone, lay it out there where we normally put it?
On the glass?
On the glass. Yeah, I just turned it on. All right, welcome everybody. We're going to get this race underway. It's got everything set up so far. Here on the orange track. Just got to get our stuff streaming up and running first. All right. Is everybody ready? Here we go. Watch your lights. So we have to implement 2 goals tonight as we have 9 racers. We want to make sure there's always 2 setting out. Currently we have 3 setting out. Running a live track. I'll be controlling the track, so if these cars end up coming off and it overwhelms the track marshals, I'll be taking care of the track itself. I was able to get that in a timely fashion. Guys were practicing on this earlier with their cars. Everybody seems to have pretty good smooth running cars so far tonight. Right now, Paul Woosley out in the lead. Everybody running on like they got some sense tonight. Look at these cars go. We just freshly sprayed the track last week. Not a whole lot of people's been running on the orange track. So these guys are definitely taking advantage of the medium glue that we've sprayed on there. Randy Kirtley track marshalling, Tom Payton and Brennan Dant, all 3 racers. And all 3 of them really good track marshals, I'm noticing, as they're getting these cars put back on in a very timely fashion. Fellow racer there, Robert Bishop, you see him in sight there. He's playing some pinball tonight. He races hard and he plays pinball hard. He's getting ready for the competition tomorrow night. Here at the track mate, after 1 round, we can see how things have shaped up. Paul Woosley so far in the lead with 27 laps. Ed Howe with 26. Bruce Bullington with 25. Gerald Suttle 25. Nathaniel Burden 24. Glenn Burden 24. Looking pretty good. And a little bit, somewhat of a late start tonight, as we're supposed to start at 6:15. It's now 6:37. See a couple back-to-back parking jobs going on here at Lanes Raceway. Some people getting some last-minute food on top of a big race night. Parking area here is somewhat a little bit small for these 2 businesses as well as they do. You know, it's been a blessing by the Lord for sure. But we can see that parking sometimes can be an issue. See Randy Kirtley's truck there. He's parked all the way up on the sidewalk pretty much. But we thank Randy for parking there for sure, as it does free up another parking spot. Also Paul Woosley there next to him. Minute and 43 seconds before we go back racing. Just bring your attention back to pinball. Yet again, Nikki's still holding it down, Rockin' Rod, and I'm still holding Godzilla down. Kay come in here and she's put an impressive 559 million up there, so she's climbing a little bit. She's coming for me on Godzilla, and I think it just won't be too long until she does it. She wants Godzilla to be her first billion-point pinball machine. We're also been doing some other renovations here at Lanes Raceway. I see over here by the American flag, a couple of our chairs gone and stuff. We're getting ready to put a racing simulator there. So some of the racing fans pretty excited about all that. I know we are excited. We got the racing wheel here in the shop right now, and we just put up the VR sensors and stuff up there because it'll be a VR racing censored game. See all the guys here working hard on their cars. They got 46 seconds before they go back racing. Got Indy Heat on tonight. That's been popular amongst a couple of the guys. Brendan Dant, Tom Payton, and Cameron Hill. They've been battling it out on there all week long, trying to beat each other's high scores. Tonight, try to show you guys what I'm drinking on tonight. I usually show you guys every night what I'm drinking on. Frosty Top Vanilla Cream Soda. Vanilla Caramel Cream Soda, sorry. Really good stuff, to be honest. And it foams up really good, too. So if you get like a nice mug or something and you pour it in it, it's got a good old frosty mug. Trina Ball says, happy birthday, Don. Trina, I love you. Thank you every morning for your word of the day. And Tony, go Bruce. Click see. Thank you, Trina. We love you. I hope you was able to maybe make it out to a couple of those revivals. I know me and T's been really wanting to hit up some of them. We had a friend of ours come in here and post a revival, actually up here next to our doorway. And it just so happens it's right in the middle of our busiest time here at work, which is kind of disappointing. But maybe something will happen. We'll be able to get out there to at least one or two of them. But Lord's definitely moving out in this country for sure. And I love to see it, as I know you do too, Trina. Bruce, he's actually got him a pretty fast little car tonight. He brought it in here earlier, and we looked at his car, and it was doing really good, actually. Hey, Tony, I appreciate that, man. Tell all the Gaddis family thank you. Robert, you still at Daytona driving dirt bikes, I'm guessing? I think you said you did some flat track, if I'm not mistaken. And of course, I know that's tough on the body for sure. Back in the day, I remember my brother had a motorcycle. I don't think he ever raced it, but I just went on a ride with him a couple times, and it's all I wanted, and I was young. So you definitely got to be dirt bike fit for sure to be able to deal with that kind of stuff. I mean, everybody just running these cars like they've been doing it their whole lives. The fear of a live track is really set in these guys, as they are running great tonight. Love to see it. Paul Woosley's still out there in the lead, as we can tell. Doing quite well also. Heading over to the track mate, we'll try and do a little bit of a look here at these times. We see Paul Woosley out with an average of 27.5. Running 28 laps there on purple, actually beating Bruce out just by a hair there. So Paul just put him a fresh motor in right before the race, and sometimes putting a fresh motor in does make the difference. All these guys are all over the place that I've noticed after checking the cars when it comes to their gear ratios. Some people running 24s all the way up to, I seen somebody running a 32. So I couldn't just tell that it would be by the gear ratio itself, but I will tell you this much. These guys are definitely running a whole lot better tonight than they have been. And I don't want to contribute at all to track prep, but at the same time, I don't want to contribute at all to the fear of coming off the track either. But I'd say that plays a lot of it where that we're running a live track for the truck series. Gerald Settle there in his first heat in with 25 laps there on white. That's pretty good. He's only 2 laps down from Randy on red. 1:43 seconds left to go. We'll just take a quick look over here at the oval cam. You can see these guys working a little bit. And each week, it's funny, these guys come in here and they always got something new that they're doing to their car or they're wanting to try out. Got a couple guys come in here, they're trying out the new silicone tires we got here in the shop. And they're asking me all kinds of questions like, what do I do to make it faster? And I tell them, I'm like, faster is behind the trigger, but the real deal is, do you want more top end? Do you want more acceleration? I can help you with that, but as for being faster or actually staying on the track, that's hard for me to tell a person how to do that. As everybody here races a little bit different. Some people are really aggressive on the trigger, other people really smooth on the trigger, and then you got some people that are just really, really slow on the trigger. So, and then there's variances in between there, but that's what makes racing so good, especially when those variances meet up and you can kind of see these guys really racing as hard as they can in the best portion of the track that they hold. So a lot of the guys like the top end side of the track, so they'll drive it deep, and then other guys, they really like going around the S-turns and taking those sharper moves there. So it's really good to see that these guys are racing neck and neck like they are. But yeah, here's one of the controllers we got for the little VR that we got down here. Of course, it was one I got from back in the day, so it's a little bit outdated. But for guys that's never done it before, I think they're going to experience a good time. You can kind of see, let me see if I can get my finger right there in the corner, that way, right there. That's the steering wheel the guys are going to be using when we get the simulator in. So I think they're looking forward to that. We're going to try to incorporate that some way with the guys racing slot car and mix it up and kind of run a little simulation racing. Maybe have some sort of gauntlet or something where the guys are running both simulation and slot car racing. Of course, we know that the guys love it simply because they race a lot of Indy heat too. So it'll be fun to see how that works out. We're heading back over to the track here, so you keep an eye on here. We see Gerald Settle there helping track marshal on the horseshoe of the track. Paul Woozycar getting a little bit crooked there in the S-corner on red lane. Was able to correct it there and get it back underway. Fellow racer there, Cameron Hill, he's playing some pinball tonight. Alicia says, go Dad. Bruce currently in second place. He just took over Ed right there off white. Ed being on the higher lane. Bruce's car definitely running a whole lot better than it was the other night on the circle track. So we'll see how things pan out for Bruce. Here's several people yelling track. I was hitting the button, but a little bit of delay there. Always keep your eye in front of your car. But those are the ropes, It's a rough world out there, especially for racing. These guys are probably not too happy with me right now because about a quarter-second delay to go through the network to actually stop the track. But the aggression coming off the horseshoe of the track causes a lot of these guys to come off. So we're going back green racing here.
Are you at the restaurant?
Paul Woolsey's daughter there at the start-finish line. She's helping track marshal, it looks like. She enjoys slot car racing too. She's been in a couple of the rental races here with the other kids in the area. Brennan, Brennan Dan actually currently track marshaling. He got a place 1 to be in the series for winning the kids race at the beginning of the year, and he's doing really well for his first series that he's been in, as all these guys are really running nice and consecutive tonight. Total basically how the system itself works here is it's graded on the 85 percentile. Head back over to the track mate here. but it's graded on like an 85 percentile here for each one of the racers. And what it does is, if you stay consistent and you progress maybe just a couple laps each race, it's very beneficial. But if you do the inverse of that, you lose a couple laps, it's not too good for you. It can go against you pretty quickly. And every one of these guys, like I said, tonight, you can tell that these guys are really staying on the track a whole lot more than our first series. And I think just the way that this is laid out actually helps people become better racers. Rhythm is everything when it comes to slot car racing, and if you can teach people rhythm and make them enjoy it at the same time, you'll make really good racers out of them. And my hopes is that we can make really good racers out of these guys and maybe go to Tennessee and Louisville and race some of these other guys that have been doing it for a long time, and maybe we can increase the competition in slot car racing and possibly have some really, really good races here in the eastern United States. 1 minute and 44 seconds left to go. Going back into the pits, we see several of the guys getting their stuff ready, taking a look around, working on their cars. A big incident there between, I believe, Brennan and Glenn, that last heat. So, they're able to get their cars worked on during the heat. We'll see how things work. Ed Howe up there in the window putting his car up, getting ready for the heat. I only currently have 2 cars in the window. I need to see 3 before the race starts. If I don't see 3, you guys know the rules. They lose 10 laps. Whoever's not up in that window, I'll tally it up and see who it is. Same thing goes for people that don't track marshal. So, actually, it's not 3. I'm sorry. It'll be 2. I put the ghost in for just 2 setouts. So we do have 2 cars up there. We got Gerald and we have Ed Howe. So they'll be your setouts. Gerald will actually be going back to racing after this. As we see Brennan, he's in on red now with 40 seconds left to go. These guys will be going back racing. Everybody enjoying some pinball. I think Glenn, he's keeping an eye on the high scores on pinball for sure. He got to keep his name up high on Godzilla. When he sees guys playing Godzilla, he's got to focus in. He's as bad as me. I remember I was track marshaling one of the races one time, and Kay come in, and man, I was holding the record on Godzilla for months. And man, she was having the game of her life, and I remember watching her get that multi-ball, and there was nothing I could do about it. But it just makes you strive harder, go out there and try to do better the next time. And I did. It just took me a couple months to get there. So it's always fun. Definitely learning new mechanics on the pinball tables. And it's cool to see that Stern keeps making really cool pinball tables. Got a car completely stalled there in the high banks corner of the track. See what's up with that. Could cause an incident, so I hit the track there just to make sure that something ain't completely up with it. Looks to be Nathaniel Burden's car. But yeah, they're releasing a Foo Fighters pinball machine. That just come in on my email the other day. So I watched a video on it, and man, if y'all ain't seen the Foo Fighters pinball machine that's fixing to come out for Stern, you definitely need to check it out, because it's got like a death save mechanic in it, and it is something to see. It's really, really cool. And it also has like a loop around, like you can shoot it with the right flipper to the left, and it loops around the right and comes back around. It's just a really cool looking pinball table. If you ain't seen it, stop right now, go to YouTube and check a video out on the new Foo Fighters pinball table coming out from Stern. They're already sold out, so it's kind of disappointing, as I've really been eyeing it, and it's only been out for like 3 days, so I might be able to call Zach up there at Flipping Out Pinball, and maybe he can get us one ordered, and like he did for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and we'll see what we can do there. Gerald Suttle, quick fashion there, getting those cars put back on in the S-turn. Paul Woosley still in the lead here. We see Glenn Burden getting his own car put back on there, and he did that very quickly. all these guys just running so good tonight. It's good to see them. Randy Kirtley there, actually in the center of the pack there between two other cars, chasing down Paul Woosley there on yellow. Let's see if he's able to make the pass to see if there's any kind of competition that can be happening here. Paul Woosley holding Randy off like his life depends on it. They both go in the same corner, and Randy gives him the dump, dumping Paul Woosley there. But all the cars being put back on in a good fashion there. I'm sure Paul Woosley probably had something to say about that to Randy Kirtley, most likely. As we get another lane rotation here, we'll check out the track mate. And we still see Paul Woosley out there in the lead with 109 laps. Running pretty good here. 27 laps tends to be, for the most part, a pretty good high amount. Glenn Burton there running 28 on yellow, so he outdoes him once. But he was able to do 28 there on purple. Now that's Glenn Burton's strong suit, so we'll see what he can do on purple for sure. Kind of surprised Glenn did is like he did on black there with 24. Usually Glenn owns the show on black. I've seen him with the GTP coming around the corners there. You can feel the air gust come off of it. It sounds like a turbo kicking in. Randy Kirtley running 27 on red, holding it down. 28 on green. That's pretty impressive there. That's tied with Paul Woosley there on purple. And a 27 there on blue, tying up Paul Woosley there. So Paul and Randy Kirtley really, really close together. Bruce Bullington there running 27s here on black, tied for the lead there, and 27 on yellow. Just one shy of Glenn Burton there on yellow, as Glenn had a really nice yellow lane. So all these guys, it's just a couple lanes, they're about pretty high average, and then a couple lanes, they're getting the lead against people. So kind of excited to see how this is going to work out. As everybody staying on the track, that means that people are able to turn their laps like they want to. And I want to see if it's going to be a nail biter by the end of this race for sure. We also got some of an order coming in this week at Lanes Raceway. Finally got a gear driller so that we can drill the spur gears and the crown gears here at Lanes Raceway. That's been on back order for a couple months now. And we also are going to have a couple Neo 17 controllers coming in. As DeFalco controllers have just been a ghost to slot car racing here from ERI Distributing. But we were able to get a couple of those. We're actually going to get a couple chipsets in. I think Tom Payton was looking for a chipset. And maybe Brennan, if I'm not mistaken, was looking for a chipset. A couple people were looking for chipsets. We're going to get a couple of those in. And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for all our pinball people out there. It's going to finally get the stern mat, headphone station, and a cup holder. So, like the rest of the pinball machines. So I know a lot of people are pretty excited about that too. 18 seconds left to go. We're going to be going back green racing. There's my wife there in the bottom left-hand screen there. She got her a new little sweater today. And I think it looks good on her myself. Makes her look real tall. So we got a stalled car there on green. I believe that's Brennan Dance's car there being stalled out. Glenn Burton pushing the car, Tom Payton's car, through the start-finish line. So we're able to go. The high bank corner there, being it's 45 degree, if the cars are not perfectly true, a lot of times it just steps them out of the front of the guide flags. It's recessed by about 3/8 or so of an inch. Glenn Burton quickly getting those cars put back on. Paul Woosley still in the lead, 115. Nathaniel Burton there on yellow, and Paul Woosley both together as they go around the S turns, battling each other. Paul Woosley getting a little bit of an advantage, and Nathaniel Burton coming off there on yellow. So Paul Woosley will be able to get him a lap there for sure. Paul Woosley running a pretty good race here tonight, as we see both. Looks like Gerald had to get a couple cars put back on there. I think maybe his hand got caught up on one of the cars while he was getting his car put back on there. Sometimes guys coming off red there end up hitting some of their controller stations. I don't think that's happened to Gerald, but sometimes they get a little too sloppy too and end up hitting one of the pieces of wood there on the side of the track. Just all about how aggressive you do come off the track, whether or not that back end kicks out enough to hit the side of the track there. But like I said, a beautiful thing to see how good these people are running here tonight. You guys are probably impressed too with the skill level increase of these guys. The fear of the track being killed on them is definitely a fear there for sure. To see Randy Kirtley and Paul Woosley, car coming off under the bridge. Able to do that in a quick fashion. Got a track call and I hit it, as you could hear, but it was just a little too late as the race was over. So we'll head over to the track mate there, and we can still see Paul Woosley in the lead, 136, running pretty good out there. 27.2 average to be tied with Randy Kirtley with a 27.2. Now, Paul Woosley has yet to race his higher lanes. We'll see how well he does out there. But just to compare him and Randy Kirtley, 27-27. Paul Woosley edging out Randy there on purple lane with 28 laps versus his 27. Paul Woosley yet to run green or red. We take a look at some of the other guys here. Gerald running 22 there on red, 25 on white. Tied for the lead there with Ed on white. Doing pretty well for his first couple back in. Brennan here holding down a couple good averages here so far. A little low, but his car was having a little bit of trouble there at the beginning of the race. That might have cost him a lap or so before we could get the track cut off. Glenn Burton running in that 28 out there. Something to see. Like I said, every one of these guys really running quite close together. I really hate to make any kind of prediction right now, currently, on who I think might be taking it or not. All of them working hard there on their cars. We see Ed, he's going around. I guess he's still track marshaling too. Good to see him again. Of course, Ed's just a good old soul that we love keeping around for sure. He gets to make it in here when he ain't working. He usually works those swing shift type schedules, 14, 16-hour days. We hardly get to see him, but when we do get to see him, he's just a breath of sunshine for sure. He's helped us. I'll never forget it. He helped us on the Kids Day when we first started. We had a Kids Day for all McLean County students, and he helped us all day long. And I mean, he was my right hand that night that day and night for sure. Don't make predictions, Donovan. I know. It's just like last week, Alicia. Anytime I mentioned a person's name, their car would wreck up against the side of the wall. So I don't want to try to make any predictions, and at the same time, I really got to watch just naming people's cars. Thank you, Alicia. I appreciate that. It's been a good birthday. Definitely been a good one. We've had a really good day here at Lanes Raceway. I got a lot of work done. Like I said, I got those sensors put up for the VR and everything, so it was cool to see all that coming together. But yeah, I appreciate the happy birthday wishes. All right, here we go. As you can tell, everybody was losing their mind there. I was dealing with a customer there for a second. And the one time that I deal with somebody, that's when everybody decides to completely destroy their cars. That's fine though. You know, we sell parts here at Lanes Raceway. We're more than happy to sell them parts.
Happy birthday to you.
So we see Paul Woosley's car come high speed come apart up there up top. It hit pretty hard there on the upper portion of the lane. I don't know whose car was off. Maybe you guys can let me know, but I did hear every racer out there get extremely upset while I had my back turned for 1 second. It was just 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. They say no good deed goes unpunished. I guess that is the truth. You know, you try to do something real quick and help somebody out, and it never fails. That's when the bad stuff happens. But like I said, we'll get through it. Looks like Paul Woosley's probably going to have to check his truck out, as it's bent, or he's not lifting or something. I don't know exactly what's going on with it. Ed Howe there taking a look there at the High Banks corner to see what's wrong with Paul Woosley's truck. I'm sure he'll be able to get her figured out here in no time. Ed Howe, you can see him up there blocking the truck right now to see if it's bent bad or beyond recognition. Glenn Burton helping me out there, letting me know it's good to turn the track back on. I may actually go back and view how many laps that they lost at the end of this, if they want me to, and I can always add their laps in, depending on how severe it was. But if they're good with it, I'm definitely good with it. Like I heard a car come off there. Yep, it was Paul Woosley's car again there on the upper portions of the High Banks there. He's racing real hard against Nathaniel Burden there on orange, but he's going to have to blip there up on the upper lanes. His truck just cannot take it. He's evidently going just fast enough that it is causing his car to come out. Every one of you guys know the dangers of the old blip zone. Some people just don't heed the warning. Looks like Paul Woosley tonight not wanting to heed the warning of the blip. So, but Paul Woosley's still out in the lead there. Second to him, 154, Nathaniel Burden. So we look there, 23 laps on Paul Woosley, down a little bit from everybody else as he came off a couple times there on white. I'm trying to look real quick to see who I really hurt. It might have, I don't know, Glenn wasn't in that turn, so it wasn't Glenn. I don't know who exactly I affected whenever I was getting a drink for a customer, but nonetheless, I thought everybody was going to get the pitchforks out and come for me, maybe set on a couple torches and maybe put me up on one of them pitchforks and cook me or something. They were quite upset for sure. I'm going to take a small break here and we'll give you guys the old oval cam. You can watch these guys work hard at it. And I'm going to go get some information and see who I hurt. right, 20 seconds left to go. I went out there and dug for a little bit of information. Found out that it was Paul Woosley I affected. Let's see what we got here. Alicia said, I don't think a bunch of laps were lost that heat unless it was my dad. Oh, and you're talking about that when they yelled track. I said, I don't think many laps were lost. Okay, good. I appreciate that, Alicia. I did tell him, though, if I affected him too bad, that I would go back and give him a lap or so. He didn't look at me too nicely, but, you know, that's racers for you. Under the heat of the draw of the race, you know, there's a little bit of drama to be had for sure. I guess that might just be payback for Paul Woosley. Every time he comes in here, he's asking me for 21, 22, and 23 crown gears. You know, he's trying to rub salt in old wounds, and we'll just see. Sometimes you just get what you deserve, I guess. You know, maybe Paul needs to blip a little bit better on the blip station. That's what I call it. It's right there where Tom's at. For everybody that don't know, you got to blip the trigger there, let off of it, and get back on it. It's a full let off. You got to let that nose dive down. With certain cars, some cars can run over it all day long and have no issue. Being that Paul's is a blueprinted chassis, it's kind of surprising with all that weight down low that he does have to blip. But nonetheless, his car's moving on quite quick tonight. Bruce Bullington, Paul Woosley, and Glenn Burton now currently are track marshals. And everybody running really, really good here. The Ghost here, the setouts are on green and orange. Both Ghosts keep where we always have track marshals. They put the cars back on. Look at this little cluster we got going on here. Yellow, purple, and black there. Looks like yellow of Randy Kirtley there kind of leaned off a little bit between the other guys, but it was pretty good there for about 3 laps. Everybody running neck and neck like that. It was cool to see. Heading over here to the track mate yet again. Nathaniel Burton now currently in the lead, as he was able to take over Paul Woosley as Paul Woosley setting out. Randy Kirtley turning his laps down low there. I think he turned 28 there that time on yellow. So he's heading up. He'll be on orange next. So Glenn Burton and him turning the same amount of laps there on yellow. Pretty much the rest of the field kind of similar to Bruce here, running about 27, 25, 26 laps or so. Everybody's right there neck and neck with each other. From the averages speaking, really, really close. 23.8, almost 24 laps to 25.6 or 27.3 there of Randy Kirtley. That's the difference between what these guys are running averagely speaking. A lot of that has to do with wrecks and other stuff, but everybody running about 25 or 26 laps on average every heat, without exception for sure. Everybody working on their car. The man that I offended, well, I don't know if I offended him. It's hard to offend Paul Woosley. He's just a good dude. But up there in the top right there wearing a flannel, him and Randy Kirtley both, they love wearing flannels. You might have seen a picture on them back a couple months ago, right? I think it was the last race of the series, NASCAR series. Both of them wearing almost identical flannel shirts looking like Beetlejuice. But they love to wear those flannel shirts for sure. But Paul Woosley's truck definitely running good and fast tonight for sure. I think he'll definitely be able to make up that 1 or 2 laps that we cost him. But we'll see. 56 seconds left to go. I'm going to head us over to the live stream here. I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll be right back.
Oh my goodness. You need to get rid of that picture.
Who's that? Is that me? I hope someone it's all.
Everybody's racing so good.
I have a picture of him.
I'll send you not done that. Oh, you like that root beer? Pretty good. That's my favorite root beer.
In like books, like a chapter. Oh, that monkey
All right. Paul Woosley, not mad at me. I just confirmed it. He put his car up there in the window as he's helping track marshal, and I was like, man, I'm sorry. And he's, oh no, I wasn't upset. So I feel a whole lot more relieved. As definitely don't want to upset the guys for sure. I told him that it just so happened everybody was running so good, I thought I had time. And sure enough, as soon as I went to go do something, there it was, good size wreck, and I needed to be where I was at. Should have just held my post down, but anyways, good to see my mom, as you seen her just cross the screen there a few seconds ago. Don't get to see her much. It's tax season. She's a tax lady, and it's good to see her tonight. She called and wished me happy birthday earlier today, and it was good. We went out and ate yesterday when it was really nice. I think my mom starts to know now that my birthdays tend to be kind of somewhat nasty. But tonight, really not a nasty night. It's actually a pretty good night. But nonetheless, we ate at Chili's for the first time I guess I've ever ate there since I was a kid or something. But I don't know. It was okay. I had a buffalo chicken sandwich. The fries wasn't worth nothing. I'll put you that right there right away. The fries were like stale, like, you know, when you have McDonald's fries out for about 4 hours, how they taste. They're just like really gritty and hard. Similar how the fries was, but the sandwich itself was a really good chicken sandwich. I would relate it to being very similar in taste to a Popeye's chicken sandwich. It was really good. Popeye's buffalo chicken sandwich, that is. Back to racing there. Tom Payton there coming off there in the S corner of the track there on yellow, we can tell. Randy Kirtley now in the lead on orange. But like I said, ladies and gentlemen, that car is moving for Randy Kirtley. Definitely got the most amount of skill when it comes to the orange track. Very feared around here for sure. As everybody's like, well, Randy's going to win, Randy's going to win. But the cool thing about this series is Randy, or also known as my dad, he has to run consecutively good, or this handicap does hurt him. As we could tell, he's lost a couple races this series, just simply because he wasn't running as true as he usually does. I think Nathaniel ended up getting him once, either on this orange track or the oval. We got it posted on Facebook. You can see how we do the math, and we encourage everybody to do their own math for sure. Once it's locked in, it's locked in. You receive points for it, and you move on to the next race. It's always beneficial if you come to these race nights and there's not a whole lot of people. Tonight we got quite a few, 9 in total tonight. The other last week or the week before, no, it was the week before last on Thursday, we only had 4. So those guys, were receiving quite a bit more points than other people. But nonetheless, you get if you race all the races, you can drop up to 4. So it's all going to boil down to points by the end of it, but the averages is what dictates what amount of points that you do receive. Randy Kirtley racing all but the white lane here, and his average is 27.4. Paul Woosley fixing to come back in, I believe, with 26.5. No, he'll be coming in next. Bruce is coming in this time. I'm sorry about that. Minute and 42 seconds left to go before we go back green racing. We see Paul Woosley taking advantage of the time that he has. All the racers can do that. They can take advantage of each one of these time segments that everybody's working on their car and work on their car. But that car has to be back in the window by the time that we start racing again. So Paul Woosley checking some stuff on his car for sure to see if everything's good. Natty Ice, how's it going? Need something?
I'm looking. I don't know what I want.
You let me know.
I got 1 minute before I gotta be out there.
57 seconds to be exact. Nathaniel, you got anything you'd like to tell your friends? Your fans?
What? I don't have any fans.
What about Clay? He's your fan.
Clay, glad you're here. Can I get a sticker?
Hello, Clay.
You do me a favor?
I can.
Favorite, ain't I?
You think it's this?
Yes, I can.
You wouldn't mind. You might not want to.
Who's your favorite beer?
I don't mind one bit, Clay. Lay her right there on that glass. After this race, I'll hang her up for you.
You didn't give it to me.
Are you getting in the next race?
What did I tell you Saturday?
It's series day. Over. Okay.
Is all the track on now?
Because he got mad 'cause
It
I-
isn't, but as soon as this race is over, we're going to put 15 minutes on it, and then everybody will practice and all that.
This is just a fundraiser for the FFA. Scan on your phone and bring you right up the page. Only when they're close you want.
Cool. I'll put it on the stream. All right, we're going back live racing. Clay just come join us. He's going to be getting in the oval race here. I want to show you something real quick that he brought us. I'll leave this up here. Maybe you can take a snapshot of it. What'd you say this was, Clay?
FFA fundraiser.
It's a fundraiser for the FFA.
Sell shirts, hoodies, and stuff like that.
Shirts, hoodies, stuff like that. I've got another hard yell of the track at me. Right? Anytime Clay, I try to do anything different tonight, I get yelled at. Anyways, y'all seen it. If y'all have any questions about it, you want us to put it on Facebook, let me know. I'll get it put on Facebook too. And you guys can scan that and maybe help out a fellow racer there, Clay. This Clay race is pretty hard down here for sure. Ed Howe in the mix there. Ed Howe's car there on blue. Guys, man, a lot of people coming off there. Ed Howe really flying on blue. Get you back here to the main show here. Thank you, Lisa. I'm going to try to hang in there. I got to keep my eyes focused on these cars at all times. Anytime I take my eye off of it tonight, it's kind of similar to the way it was the other night when I was naming out people's trucks and they were completely getting destroyed. Well, tonight, it's anytime I take my eyes off of the racetrack, there's a high-speed come apart and everybody's involved. So. So right there, Nathaniel getting overwhelmed. I hit the track call button simply because he was dealing with a car underneath the bridge at the same time. And that just makes it where he couldn't, in a timely fashion, get those cars put back on. Everybody kind of clustering up right now. For the most part, each one of these individuals running similar gear ratios, and I think that's why we're seeing a lot more cluster ups instead of some give and take. As the majority of the guys are running the same type of gear ratios. Anxiety of the racer too don't help much whenever they come off a couple times and they know it's so cost effective to them, or not effective, but ineffective for them to come off for large periods of time. They definitely want to see that. Randy Curley with a great coast coming out of the high banks. They don't want to see that for sure because they know that this is done by an average, not necessarily how many laps they run. So they're really trying their best to peak out as high as they can. Randy Curley there peaking out with 220 laps total for the race. Nathaniel Burton still has one more heat, so he's got about 180, so he'll get around 210 or so at the end of this heat, maybe a little bit more than that, so it'd be pretty close for him. Tom Payton also having one more heat too, but Paul Woosley having two heats there with 160. We're going to see him climb really quick. Also, Ed Howe there with two more heats with 156. He's going to be doing some climbing. Glenn Burden too. Pretty much Glenn Burden, Bruce, Ed, Paul, Gerald, and Brennan. All of these guys have got a lot more moving up to do, as there's still 2 heats left to go. The guys with 1 heat left to go, they're really going to have to put up a pretty good showing here. Minute and 45 seconds left to go. Taking a look over here at the oval cam. Getting yelled at again. Love it here at Lanes Raceway, getting yelled at. Like I said, we'll go real quick back to the road race here so you can see my ugly mug while we got some time. I'll stick this up here again. FFA, a tire store web link. Scan me, it says. But give it a shot. It's a fundraiser. Help them out. Definitely need our farmers for sure, especially in this area. That's pretty much the main income for this area is farmers, kids included. Good jobs for them. Keeps them out of trouble. Done a little bit of that whenever I was younger. Can't say I enjoyed it. Do not like blisters and do not like the heat bearing down on me and doing a lot of manual labor. Cannot stand it. But at the same time, I did a lot of it too when I was in the union. So didn't like it then either. But I did enjoy electrical. I see that number 1 there. Is that a number 1 for you, Brennan? Is that what you're taking home today? Got a haircut too. I don't know if you guys noticed. Wife let me get a haircut, so that was pretty cool with her. Of course, I guess I could have got one of my own. I'm not like saying that my wife dictates how I live, but she encouraged me to get one. She was saying I was looking a little scruffy, so I did. She actually went to the Kroger and got groceries for the first time in about 2 years. We usually just go down, have enough time to go down to the dollar store and get some frozen pizzas. I've been eating frozen pizzas for like a year. It's been killing me. But man, she got all kinds of stuff. I actually ate a salad yesterday, and that's something for me because I hate salads. But I'll tell you what, that salad wasn't bad. It had like sunflowers and stuff in it, and a weird sauce. It was kind of sweet, but I recommend it. I don't know if maybe you check it out, know what kind of salad I'm talking about, but it was a sweet type white-looking sauce that goes on a salad. And it went really good with sunflower seeds on top of it. I think there was cabbage actually in the salad too, which, I mean, you guys probably don't care what I'm eating, but it was something different that I hadn't had. And I'm usually not a fan of salads, but I was of this one. It was pretty good. Tom Payton now currently in the lead there on white. Tom Payton there last second said, hey, I'm getting in this race just to be running some races. Tom Payton, the ultimate member here at Lanes Raceway, really excited for the upcoming simulator here. We got some plans, like I said, for that. Yeah, I know it's kind of funny, but it is true. It's the first time we've been to Kroger in like 2 years. We just never could seem to find the time in the days like that I do get off on Mondays and Tuesdays. We end up restocking, and by the time we get done getting stuff to restock Lanes Raceway, we're just so busted tired. We're like, let's just get something quick to eat, go home, and take a nap. So that's what we end up doing. Randy Kirtley, hey, I was telling you guys about that flannel shirt that him and Paul Woosley was wearing. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. He is wearing it tonight. Randy Kirtley is wearing the Beetlejuice flannel shirt. A little bit of S-turn debacle going on there as we see Glenn Burton's car come off there just a little bit wiggly. Well, Alicia, I appreciate that. I mean, you guys know sometimes, I mean, I love talking about slot cars, and I usually focus in quite a bit. But sometimes, you know, other stuff kind of tickles my fancy. That's, you know, been exciting, at least in my life, that happens. I figure I'll just talk about it a little bit. Something a little bit different, maybe. Randy Kirtley's still there in the lead. Tom Payton approached him pretty close there with 199. Paul Woods still got him 1 heat left to go. And like I said, Paul's got a chance to get about 110 there. Kind of rough 23 laps there on the white. I guess I'm somewhat responsible for that. But we'll see if he wants to protest. If he does, we'll do something about it. Ed Howe there, 182 with one heat left to go. Nathaniel Burden, 179. Bruce Bullington, 176. He's let it know a million times. His strong suit's definitely not the orange track, but he does enjoy it, which is somewhat of an anomaly, really. Most people, if they don't do good on it, they just don't like it, but not Bruce. He enjoys the orange track. He tells us like this. He says, it's just something else I got to learn and get good at. And I believe every word that man says for sure, as Bruce is very dedicated in learning the craft of slot car racing. Brandon, how's it going? Bad? What do you mean bad?
I'm in last place.
Why are you in last place?
I just second on the track.
You just don't like the orange track?
I just second on the track.
Well, I was just mentioning that to everybody. You need to have an attitude similar to Bruce. It's not his best track, but he wants to learn it. So that's what you need to do. You need to learn the orange track and get good at it.
I'm the same way on that direct. I need to learn the lights.
Cameron, you will figure those lights out. I know you will, man.
I need to figure out like half of them out.
Well, they're half-second lights, man.
Yeah. Oh, they are?
Yep. Half a second, half a second, half a second, go.
Yeah, so it's a second and a half. Like,
Yeah. Essentially.
Do y'all need to be some shirts? Lanes Raceway shirts?
Gabriel's gonna do that. We evidently there's a lady that's gonna make us some. She's the same person that makes the hats. That's up in the air. I told him I want to get some Hawaiian shirts made with Lane Raceway on it. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll get something going on for sure.
Me and Dad
Okay. Cameron, you'll be the first one that I let know when we get some T-shirts in with Lanes Raceway on it. You know I will.
When they try to find some boots that I can put Lanes Raceway on, put Lanes Raceway on the bottom.
I'll tell you what you do. Just get on the internet, get a cattle prod made with Lanes Raceway, and then heat it up and just stamp the bottom of your boot. There you go. You got Lanes Raceway cowboy boots. Yeehaw. It'll work.
Do you think I should put vinyl on the bottom of my boot?
That vinyl ain't going to stay on the bottom of the boot.
But the thing is, when I wear my boots,
Somebody said there was a rider there. Get that situated real quick.
the thing is when I wear boots, I have a bad habit about when my new boots are on. I have a bad habit of that.
Well, you could take vinyl, the negative side of it, not the positive side of it. But you take the negative side of it, you probably put acid on it and let it eat into the boot a little bit. That's what they do to knife blades. So they'll take knife blades and they'll put vinyl down, they'll put a little acid on it and etch it like that. So quite a few people coming off, as you guys can tell there. Just having a small conversation there with Cameron about boots and Lanes Raceway logos. But quite a few people just, whoo, I barely got that track shut off in time. Some people coming off there on the white lane, lack of blipping, amongst other things. But this has been one heat that's had the most people coming off of it. Other than this, really, it's been quite a somber, good, solid race tonight for sure.
When they leave you down there, you
Oh,
got to
T.
call Uber to get home, or make sure you got a money.
You said hello?
I said hello.
Hello.
There's your Uber driver right there.
Hello.
And she ain't home nothing yet. She's gonna be waiting a while.
I'm almost there.
Randy Kirtley, also known as Octopus Arms, or Radical Randy, having quite a bit of trouble there. Several people wanting to wreck right up on side of him.
I saw a dog online and line the other day. Told my mom,
It's almost mesmerizing watching all these. Alicia says hello, Chelsea.
Hello, Alicia.
Alicia, Chelsea says hello.
Hello, Dragon. What's up?
Dragon, huh?
What is wrong with her?
She might share some of my genes down the line, most likely. Randy Kirtley still in the lead there. Paul Woosley giving it his best effort to try to get Randy there at the end. 210. Ed Howe rounding up your top three, but we'll see how everything goes once we get the math done, and we'll get that posted for you for sure.
He wants the outer man.
My phone having some issues here. I dropped it earlier. Hopefully it is not completely destroyed.
This will make it know that.
that was their last one.
Something went wrong. Close and open camera app
Mark
again.
where their cars are. That's the last race they're gonna run out.
T, I'm going to need your phone to take a picture of this. It's my phone where I dropped it today. Has decided it's possibly just needs to be reset.
You won't even know I'm running because I'm not gonna be cool.
Might be time for me a new phone.
Is that good?
I guess get that screen there. It's bigger. There you go. Good. Got it?
As usual, we do a 4-bar show.
All right. So that's it for the orange track. We're going to move directly over to the oval. As soon as I do a little bit of moving here. So you guys watch you guys work while I work. I'm going to get 15 minutes on the oval track here. All right, everybody. 15 minutes on the oval track. 15 minutes on the oval track. Yeah.
I think Dad's getting out of the dragging.
You can also grab your cars from the orange track. So we got about 15 minutes worth of warm up here. The guys are probably going to not want all that time, as they're going to want to have their cars quickly teched and move on into the next race.
Then he'll settle or he'll give it to me.
But we'll see. Brittany come in here a while ago, said that he didn't do quite as well as he'd liked on the orange track. Excited to see the oval track come up next. I believe Clay Dame's going to get involved in this race. That's what he said a while ago. I'm going to get his poster put up there. Might do it where he usually puts his stuff real quick. And I'm going to take a small break myself and see you guys shortly. right, everybody. I'm back here in the shop. I got Clay with me. I'm going to let him explain a little bit about the FFA thing. I'm trying to find, I guess we can just go to this yet again. Clay, come on over here, man. Let them know what that picture was at. By the way, it's in the front door here once you walk in at Lanes Raceway.
So it's a fundraiser for the McLean County FFA. They do it every year. They just sell T-shirts, I think hoodies and sweatshirts. You can now log onto the app, pre-order what you want, and they're going to place the order in a later date. I'm not sure when the end date is, and find out more on that, but that'll be pretty good. Support local, support the FFA. The alumni is doing a 50th year celebration on the 25th of this month. Anybody and everybody's welcome. We'll have cupcakes and punch. Please join us. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. For sure. Clay, well spoken. He needs to definitely, what would that be called in college? Public speaking. Take public speaking. He's much more well spoken than me. But everything he said, he definitely does support local. He supports this track, him and Robert Bishop both, for sure, as they come in here constantly playing, racing slot cars. I just have mad respect for Clay, for sure. Especially, this is the biggest reason why I have mad respect for Clay. He loves the peach iced tea hillbilly. I think he's actually getting one right now. If you ever come in the racetrack or you see him on the live stream, you'll see one of those bottles empty in his back pocket. He carries that baby around empty. Yeah, I've witnessed this man turn down buying stuff in the slot car because he says, "No, I only buy from Donovan." It's just mad respect for Clay, ladies and gentlemen, and he's a good racer. So definitely keep your eye out for Clay. Like I said, we're heading back over to the oval cam here. We see Gerald Suttle out there with what looks to be Tony the Tiger's back, ladies and gentlemen. Tony the Tiger's body is back on Gerald Suttle's. He's wanting to get ready. He's wanting to get his stuff set up. 8 minutes into this 15-minute warm-up. We're going to start teching these cars. I think my wife's already started with 4 of them. So looks like Bruce is in here now wanting to get his tech. My wife will be teching him here shortly. Tony the Tiger off the track there. Gerald Suttle told me that body took a beating last week. We'll see if his luck changes here on the oval track as we get ready to race it here shortly. In about 5 minutes, we should be going green. 5 or 6 minutes, depending on how lazy I am. Clay Dame's going to be joining in the mix this time, too. As that car just straight up ramped out of the track there. Possibly a issue with the braids being a little bit high. And Gerald will definitely get her figured out for sure.
I started an alumni up there this year. We're starting it.
Couldn't tell you how many times as a slot car racer I've had to climb up underneath the track once or twice.
Oh, you started this year?
Did you say GRC? I put a hot stand in it.
So this year we're trying to do everything. We've been contacting IRS,
Also later on tonight, after the race is over, as soon as it's over with actually, I'll be uploading this to YouTube, as I always do. And it should come into about an hour or so after I do it. I don't have the fastest computer on earth, but it's fast enough to get it done in a timely fashion at least.
Did Tony comment? Did Lisa and Tony comment?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they did. Bruce, you want to say something to them?
Oh, my southern.
I remember.
Come on over here, Bruce.
I remember you and Fort Curtis.
There you go, Bruce.
Hello, family. Hey, look, supporting the Navy. Hope y'all proud of that.
I know I am.
Love y'all.
Bruce, ladies and gentlemen, your favorite racer on the oval, for sure. Bruce definitely has the fans here at Lanes Raceway when it comes to the oval. Him and Jay both, actually. Every time they come in, they always have somebody rooting for them. Of course, Bruce, his whole family watches and checks Bruce out. We call him the Streak here at Lanes Raceway because every time he gets on the circle track, he's a force to be reckoned with. He actually had a streak going there at one time. How many races did he win in a row? 3 or 4? It's still the record here at Lanes Raceway, whatever it is. But I can't remember how many he won in a row, but it's quite a few. Of course, we don't count Dad in that. He is definitely what everybody shoots for sure. But I will tell you this, Nathaniel Burton can actually say he knocked him off the block last week, I think it was, or the week before. As Nathaniel Burton was able to capitalize, get first place, and put Randy back down in his place a little bit in third, I think it was. Dad might not like me saying that, but my dad loves me, so. I want my dad to do good, but at the same time I want him to get better so he can race with me and Gabe. Me and Gabe, we straight up beat him all the time. There ain't nothing he can do about it.
I gotta leave. It's getting deep in here.
Nathaniel said he had to leave. It was getting deep. No, Randy Kirtley, really, really top A class racer for sure. And competition-wise, the best that we have here at Lanes Raceway for sure. Him and Wally have to duke it out every once in a while, and the guys from Tennessee, Milton, and all them, they duke it out every once in a while. As you know, they're old-timer guys, know the track, they know the method, they know all the secrets, and they know how to keep their car on, essentially. And if you can do that, and you got a car that's quick, and you can keep it quick and not bent, you can win races. I've seen, you know, somebody that didn't think they have a chance, they come out and they end up winning. So, like I said, it's a mental thing for the most part, similar to golf in my opinion. But just like golf, I go out to play golf to have fun. When I race slot cars, I take it a little more serious, but it's at the end of the day, it's fun. I don't get too upset about it. It's just fun being with the guys, you know, hanging out with the guys and running some racing. Going to take a small little bitty break here. Going to put you on the full screen oval cam. Going to check these cars and get everybody out there getting ready to race. Next time we swap over, we'll be going live racing. All right, if you would, take a look at the screen. Nathaniel Burton red, Bruce Bullington white, Glenn Burton green, Clay Dame orange, Randy Kirtley blue, Gerald Suttle yellow, Ed Howell purple, and Brennan Dant black. All right, if you would, please come get your stickers up here in the shop, and then we'll get ready to race. I'm going to bring the cars out there and get them on the start-finish line. All right, racers ready. Controllers hooked up. Watch your lights.
Ready, Robert?
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're starting the second portion of the truck series here on the oval at Lanes Raceway.
No, she doesn't.
This is definitely going to have a whole lot more track stops, because the oval does get quite chaotic. Several cars involved in an incident there. Today we actually glued orange track, the orange lane of orange.
They said something about the music.
Yeah, I thought she
What'd he say?
You can't hear the track counting down because of the music.
Are you gonna turn it down?
Just turn the TV down with the remote. It's probably out there.
Ruin your music.
Oh, I don't care. I just wish they'd have done it when I was out there a while ago. Anyway, it's going to take a small break here. My wife's going to turn the music down. They're saying they can't hear the other side of the computer. It's at 100%. Here we go. All right, they can hear it now, ladies and gentlemen. We're on back green racing. Quick on the draw. As Ed Howe's car comes a full speed come apart into the side of Tony the Tiger, Gerald Settle. He's up on his lid, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everybody's okay inside that truck. Looks like he's going to continue racing. Sometimes I crack myself up. Everybody kind of spreading out a little bit now. Looks like a strip gear taking place there on Black Lane. Green grabbing his car there. We got wild and fancy action here at Lanes Raceway. Daniel Burden there having some issues with his truck. Well, I don't know how long this series is going to last with everybody's car blowing up on them. But we'll see. Driver hard. Checkers or wreckers, ladies and gentlemen. That was a bad position we seen there. Nathaniel about lost his fingers. Tom Payton gonna have to put that car there behind the line. Daniel Burden gonna take a look at his car real quick as we go back green racing, ladies and gentlemen. We're down to 5 racers, or 6 racers, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we're down to 6. It's getting gnarly out there. Several guys coming off the track. Will anyone survive this gauntlet we call racing? Brennett maybe stuck his car in the dead zone there. This is essentially racing back in the early 2000s for all those that don't know about that kind of racing. Yeah, sometimes you'd come, if you didn't have your stuff set up just perfect, you'd miss half the race sometimes. That's what's brutal about series racing too. On my green. Speed come apart. We get a car flying off the track here, ladies and gentlemen. Looks to be the car of Nathaniel Burden's having some issues this heat for sure.
Never mind. My opinion.
I heard track. Don't know what it was for, but I'm sure it was something. It looks like Tony the Tiger might have possibly came off that track. Might have been a rider there. Tommy T. Getting him put back on there. It's like Nathaniel Burden's car there, having some issues. Clay Dame nice enough to stop his race to help Nathaniel out there. As we get a red flag rotation, it was a brutal first heat, ladies and gentlemen. Shaking here, shaking. Sometimes you got to make the hard decisions when you're running things here, and I know it's not making a lot of people happy out there how I'm running it, but at the same time, you know, you got to be fair to everybody. Can't shut the track off for everybody unless you're shutting it off for everybody. So as soon as somebody comes off, we got to get going back green racing. Randy Kirtley out there 63 laps, Glenn Burden 60, Gerald Suttle rounding up your top 3, tied with Ed Howell with 59. Well, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, you got to try to be as fair as you can with everybody. Some of these guys, they really take the time, dedication to make sure that their cars are set up and true. Some guys don't have as much time. Granted, they come in, they do a little bit of work on their cars and everything before the race. Sometimes it holds up, sometimes it don't. But the guys that put in the effort and you know, make sure their stuff's true and ready to roll come race day, those guys tend to do a little bit better than others. And I always encourage the guys to definitely put in the extra time, the extra effort. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But nonetheless, we got to stay with the rules, and the rules are we got to keep this baby rolling. Some of the guys were voicing their opinions, maybe possibly wanting to run another race after this, maybe a GTP race. We'll see how that goes. I hope Brennan was able to get his stuff fixed, and I hope that Nathaniel was able to get his stuff fixed. He was having some issues there. Glenn Burden getting his car put back on there.
Can I say something?
Hmm?
Can I say something? Look what I just hit.
Yeah.
So I did
Anytime you run an ET or you dial in an ET and you run the exact time that you dialed in, you'll get a 0000 ETDI, which is the distance.
My ET, just the ET 0, right?
No, you need to leave it the way you got it because you ran it perfect.
When I seen all the zeros, I was like,
That's good. That's good. There's some places that actually pay out pots for that. ETDIs. It's called an ET pot. It's actually what they pay out. 5 seconds left to go, and we're going back green racing, ladies and gentlemen. Cameron coming in here showing me one of his slips there for the drag strip. A couple of them over there practicing drag racing tonight. Jason Howard was able to take first, second, and third the other night. Couldn't get to it quick enough as Nathaniel's car comes off yet again there down at the bottom of the track, causing an incident there with him and Ed Howe. Ed Howe's truck took a pretty good hard hit there in the rear. Hopefully the axle's still in good shape there for Nathaniel Burden, but we'll just have to wait and see. Nathaniel Burden's car there suffering some issues there. We had a track call, and Tony the Tiger barely hanging on onto this track too currently. So we head back green racing, ladies and gentlemen. It's a tough world out there on the circle track for sure. One wreck away from being out several laps for sure. But like I said, all this graded on a handicap. Doesn't make it to where it's too bad unless you do quite well for the majority of the time. If you do really well for the majority of the time and that happens to you, it can be very detrimental. But it's still early on in the series. Several races to be made, and that average will average its way out eventually to your skill level. So just make sure everything's on the up and up. What a pass there by Ed Howe on black as he dive bombs Randy Kirtley and Glenn Burton there on blue. That car, like I said a while ago, I was telling Ed, that thing was really moving, and it's got really good coast too. Of course, he was faring really well there on the orange track in the orange portion of the track. So it's good to see him running good and true here now. So, Alicia, the handicap works as a perfect race on the circle track would be 550 laps. So, whatever laps that you run, you subtract that out, multiply it by 0.85, and then add that to your total laps turned. Now, once you do that, that gives you somewhat of an average, right? So, the next race, you'll take that same thing and you'll have to average it through. And eventually you get basically a certain average amount of laps per heat that you can actually turn. When this takes place, like I said, it all levels out. I tried to kill that track before that Tony the Tiger hit him, but nonetheless, we'll get that back underway here shortly. But that's essentially how it works. It's just graded on 85% to kind of keep the racing a little bit closer together. So we got several people pulling their cars off. Brendan Dant looks like he has his brushes reversed. Right of the motor is always red. So the red on the motor, there's a dot on everybody's motor. It's a little red dot. You need to make sure that goes to the right braid. I mean, this is a good learning experience for Brennan too. As he's got his braids reversed, he's never going to make that mistake again for sure.
It's pretty
Yeah, I mean Brennan's fine. He's going to have a bad race this race for sure. But like I said, it's not like it's going to be his only circle track race. You get to drop 4 races, so all he's got to do is just make sure that the next time everything's in good working order for sure. He'll make those laps up in no time. Randy Kirtley there 126 laps, Glenn Burden 125, Ed Howe 121, rounding up your top 3. Bruce Bullington come out first heat, I believe, there with 55 laps. So far, that's tied for the lead, him and Clay Dane. Randy Kirtley's truck coming to a stop there at the purple section. But like I was saying before, now that I can actually put forth more mental power to it instead of having to worry about shutting the track off too. Brendan Dan, he had his lead wires crossed up there. So with his lead wires crossed, essentially this is a DC ran track. And of course DC's direct current runs one way. That's it. It don't alternate or nothing like that, like alternating current. It runs one way, and that's the way you're going to run. So if you cross the braid, essentially you're just making the motor turn backwards. You're going to go the other way.
I could not do that last night.
And you can fix this just by swapping the braids in the front where the brushes are at. And when you do that, like I said, just remember whenever you're soldering in the wires or going to the braid itself, the red dot on that motor, it should go to the right. So red is right. So you solder the wire that's on the red dot to the right side of the brushes. Now it'd be the left side if you're looking at it from the front of the car, but if you're looking at it from the back to the front, it's on the right side. Minute and 13 seconds and we'll be going back green racing. We see Paul Woosley there holding up the side of Lanes Raceway there. Some people would say if you got time to lean, you got time to clean, but Paul don't work here, so he don't have to clean nothing. My wife, she cleans everything here, and we do appreciate her doing that. Every time that I catch her leaning, she starts cleaning. No, I'm just teasing. I don't have to tell my wife anything. She's really, really good. She just grabs a broom on her own, cleans, mops, and then she comes after she's done. She's like, is there anything else I can do? And sometimes I don't have anything for her, and I'm like, I don't know, make a post. But no, she does really good. We've been learning this together. Everything's been working out pretty good. The Lord's blessed us, and I think He's going to continue to bless us, blessing the community. Everybody enjoys themselves for sure, for the most part. And we enjoy that too. 15 seconds left to go. Alicia, I hope I answered how the handicap works pretty well. It can be somewhat hard to understand right at first, but once you get it down and you do it for everybody, Randy Kirtley, Dad, he ended up making a spreadsheet of it, so we just have to input the laps per race, and it ends up doing it every time. So yep, I couldn't get that quick enough. I seen it jump on the lane, but the computer is what the computer is. Almost a full speed J there. Yes, Tony hits the nail on the head. It is essentially the bowling handicap. That is what it is. Except instead of a perfect score being 300, it's 550 here on the circle track. Now on the orange track, I think we got it set at 225 if I'm not mistaken. It's all posted on Facebook, what we consider the top lap. You can see it on the spreadsheet that Randy's made. But it brings the racers a lot closer, especially since the skill levels are so different. A lot of these guys are just now starting out, and you hate to just discourage them because the class is so much different. It's like all these kids nowadays, they're playing first-person shooters. You throw them in there with the top in the world, they're going to get obliterated. So you got to come up with some sort of means to equalize out the skill level here. So that's how we do it, best way we can. Same thing goes in golfing and bowling. And it works. If it didn't work, they wouldn't use it, I guess. But don't get me wrong, the next series that we run will be a pro series, just like our first series. And it'll be lap for lap, and that'll be GTP. But they're quite easier to drive, and you know, the guys enjoy them. And they're practicing up on those a lot here recently. So a lot of the guys are back and forth when it comes to who's winning the race and who's losing the race on those. Clay Dane putting Tony the Tiger back in on white. My nose is itching. I'm tired already of springtime, even though I love springtime and it's really beautiful outside. The pollen in the trees kill me. Man, my dad too. There's going to come a time that you're going to see him have a sneeze fit for sure here live on the stream, where he does about 7 or 8 in a row. My biggest issue is like my eyes, they get blurry from all the pollen. It just stacks up and I can't get it out of my eye sockets. And then I blink a lot and then my eyes water and then I start sneezing. Start rubbing my nose, my whole sinus every, well, I'm sure I'm not the only one that feels the pain of allergies. A lot of riders taking place tonight. Several bent vehicles. Having a hard time staying in lanes. Aggression coming out of Dead Man's Corner causes it a lot of the times. Another thing, not having enough guide flag washer under the front, trying to keep her too low on the front can cause that too, especially in the exchange into the high banks corner of the track. Circle track definitely living up to its standard, at least as of late. Several people just constantly wrecking on it. I thought maybe we'd see a change, but they've gotten used to me shutting the track off now, so I think they're settling in to wanting to wreck a lot. So things work. But, I mean, it's just not fair for the track marshals. What's going on? Well, that ain't going to do no. Is he messing with the speaker?
No, I don't know. No, he couldn't hear. I don't think the beat was a go.
Okay, I guess he turned the volume up on the speaker. He can do that. He just can't turn it down because it's splitting the signal. There's a screen in front of them. Sometimes racers don't look at that screen though and rely on their ears. But nonetheless, there is a screen in front of them that shows these lights that you're seeing right now on the top left screen. That red car's causing some trouble today. It knocked another car off the track there underneath. Clay Dame, I don't know if he's going to want to scoot down there and get that or not. Nathaniel Burton's car might be bent, I'm sure. Ed Howe also having some issues tonight, being involved in quite a few of the incidents there. What was going on there? Trying to view it from one perspective there. Paul Woosley's car there was, I didn't know if somebody was messing with it or not. Got everybody kind of somewhat spread out now as we had fan type action moving here. I don't know if y'all have ever seen those little pendulums and stuff recently on YouTube and stuff like that, where the balls all start together, but then eventually they all change, and then they get back together, and then they change. Similar thing here to racing. They'll all fan out, they'll all cluster up and wreck. Problem with these cars that we see a lot of the times is nobody lets off for each other. and the sides sway and knock them off. And another issue is guys set their front wheels low, and then they end up getting bent, and it ends up pulling their cars out. So a lot of guys, if you're kind of new to it, kind of need to have your wheels about 1/8 of an inch off. Yeah, you're going to wreck more often, but at least when it bends, it's not going to completely make your car wreck all the time. 193 laps for Randy Kirtley, 189 for Glenn Burden, Ed Howe with 180 for your top three. But I will say this, if you can run a car and you can run it pretty good and you got a good rhythm, it is better to set your front wheels down a whole lot lower. Your car stay in better, especially on the flat corners. And as long as you don't bend it up, you'll definitely be faster. So, but like I said, you just got to know what kind of racer you are. As we move to the oval cam here, we see Tom Payton sticking his car up. But I'm kind of curious, what does the parking lot look like? Well, we got double parking going on out there. It's nice and bright, and looks like it's gotten a little wet out there. I don't know if it's still raining or not, but it was raining for sure. Cameron said he's going to check for us. We're going to get a live weather update here at Lanes Raceway, brought to you by Cameron Hill. He says no rain. Actually, he gave me, show you real quick what he gave me. He gave me one of these. So that's the weather here in Livermore in McLean County, Kentucky. It's this. Makes perfect sense to me. Ed Howell up there working on his car. Still fast, even though it's been involved in a couple unfortunate incidents. I think still mail hauling for sure. Paul Woozy there checking the green track there. Me and my wife checked all those today. If there is a spot in the track, it's very, very small. We just didn't catch it. But the orange track had orange lane completely peeled up right before the donut today. That was a lot of glue that we had to put down for it. Depending on the weather inside here, whether it's cold or hot and mixed between, especially when the weather's changing like it is, humidity's high, the track tends to want to separate itself from that glue sometimes. And this glue on certain parts of that track's 20-something years old. And as much as we're throwing cleaner on it, basically to clean the track and put fresh glue on it, that cleaning solution, naphtha, ends up getting back into the track, dissolving the glue a little bit, makes it a little bit slimy, and then it just ends up unsetting itself, and we have to put new on. But that's the price you pay whenever you're running a slot car track. You definitely want to make it to where that the track runs tight and true. And you can tell that our cars are running pretty tight and true for the most part. You may see an outlier here and there, a racer not being able to keep the rear end under control and stuff, but for the most part, they keep them pretty good. So all these guys are definitely learning the tricks of the trade, especially for this class. They majority of times run this class. A lot of the guys check out Cleve Tech for inspiration for the flexi style 4-inch chassis and stuff like that. So kind of 3 or 4 people's cars coming off there. Randy Kirtley going to take a quick look at that car as he knows it's bent. That's why I was just telling my wife next time he brings that car in here, she needs to check it out. It's bent. Cars don't just come off at the back stretch like that unless they are. So we got several people trying to get their cars put back on there. It was almost a full speed J there. That's what we call a full crowd wipeout, all 8 racers. We call that a full J here at Lanes Raceway.
How long does it take to learn to straighten it? You're always
Let me see it, Brennan. Oops, sorry about that. All right. So Brennan was pretty bad bent there. He had two motor screws coming out of his motor. I don't even know how that thing was even going around the track, to be honest with you. Nonetheless, we got his motor tightened back up. He had JK screws in it too instead of the Mid-America ones. So that could be an issue with his motor possibly, but we'll see. He's up in the window now. He's going to be a track marshal, helping get the cars put back on the best that he can. And I told him not to, he wants to drop out of the race. I told him, well, that's a bad thing to do. You don't want to do that. You want to continue to try to get as many laps as you can for keeping your average high. So he needs to get back in there and get his average high, because it can really hurt him towards the end if he starts doing really well. So he wants to try to keep his laps as close to the way that he actually races as possible, even though he's had a bad race. He can just drop this race off, and just like everybody else that has a bad race, and that's what he'll want to do. He'll want to drop that off, but he'll still want to race to try to get the points because he's not necessarily out of the game yet. We're just halfway through. He kind of hit on a good spot too. That was a pretty gnarly wreck there. He hit on a good spot too, simply because we're about halfway through, and he's going to be setting out the next 2 rounds. So we got him set back up the best that we can for the time being. His motor bracket is bent. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea to do like a blueprint to it, strengthen it up a little bit. He has no strengthening in that car, but that's also probably why his car is so fast, because he doesn't have the extra weight added to it that the majority of these cars do. So as long as he can keep it out of incidents, he will be faster than the majority of the people out there that strengthen up their chassis simply because of that. But he's got to keep it out of incidents, or at least race people as clean as he possibly can to make that happen. And I think Brennan has the kind of mindset that he can do that. He's just got to will it to be for sure. He's got to want it for himself. Looks like Clay Dane's car coming off there on the red lane. He gets put back in quick by Brennan. Brennan done a real good job getting him put back in there. But like I said, all these guys are new to racing for the most part. Brennan, I know nobody out there racing was going to want to fix this car the way it needed to be, so he took care of it, and we take care of all of our new racers here. It doesn't matter how old they are. If they were experiencing some of the same issues that Brennan was, didn't know what to do, but they still wanted to race. Like I said, we'll take the time and get that fixed. And we were blessed pretty good there, actually, me and Brennan both. As that whole time, we were actually able to work on his car without any wrecks taking place. So that was a pretty good blessing, because I was constantly looking up while I was bending and tightening his motor and everything, and we made it the rest of that heat without any incidents. So that was pretty good, and it was a blessing especially. So gotta take the good with the bad, and that was a pretty good bad actually for Brennan. So it worked out well. I mean, it could have been a whole lot worse for sure. I've seen them a whole lot worse even. So we see kind of just a little bit of a bleed out there from the red car there on black. That red car being Nathaniel Burton. He gets put back in by Gerald Suttle. Gerald Suttle, the one racing Tony the Tiger. Yeah, it is definitely sad for Brennan. But like I said, Brennan's had very, very good success here at Lanes Raceway. He's won several races here. It's not his first time having bad luck like he had. Like I said, he'll be back in there with the rest of them racing hard. It's just how race weekends go sometimes. There's only ever one winner. There's a lot of finishers, and you can't always have good luck. So, but like I said, it was a pretty good bad for Brennan as everything worked out there towards the end of the heat. He's now setting out. He's got time to look at his car. Everything, I fixed it the best that I could. What are you doing, dude?
No, motor, Dad.
Yeah, I don't think you have time to fix that. Unless you want me to ghetto fix it.
I'll just fix my motor. Or not my motor, my...
I got you set right now. I wouldn't mess with that rear end assembly. I got you set. See how loose you are? I got you set to be loose. The thing is, you'll be fine as long as you don't get hit in the rear end. Okay? Well, try not to. One thing you can do, Breen, one thing you can do is on those braids, you can flatten them in the front. Now, after the race is over with, you take that motor apart and you can bend that tab forward and then reseat it.
What time y'all close? It's 8:30.
You'll be fine. We'll get you set up after the race. But you don't have the time, dude, because that's got to be back in the window when this is over, and you got to be out there track marshaling. You could do it the next heat because you're on deck now. Next heat, we'll get it fixed. You might just be a little late getting to the finish, but you got 1 minute and 5 seconds to get out there. But you're just like everybody else. If that car ain't in that window in 1 minute and 5, take a 10-lap penalty, and you don't need a 10-lap penalty. You need to gain 10 laps. You got people rooting for you, Brennan. Don't let them down. Huh?
I probably do.
You'll be all right. 42 seconds left to go. We'll be going back green racing.
Chelsea, you gotta go. Yeah, hers. Yeah, hers. Hey, T, you gotta go. Hey, T. Will you give me hers? Alright, Chelsea. I'm here. Well, I'm sad.
Thank you, sis. You're a sweetheart. Hey, save this one. I can look at that when I'm having a bad day.
Love y'all. I love you. Bye.
Made me cry over here. Shouldn't have read that right then.
She's like, you make it to my kid.
Minute and 55 seconds left to go. Just starting this heat. Gerald Subtle there on the end, there on red, running old Tony the Tiger. Randy Kirtley having issues with his truck as he goes to work and figure out what's going on with his. Like I said, it's hitting everybody tonight, not just Brennan. Everybody's having issues tonight on the oval track. That red car, Nathaniel's really having issues tonight. Tell you what, I don't know if you ever had this frosty top vanilla caramel. Good. I love it. Very tasty. Ed, Hal, Brennan, Dan out there being our track marshals. We appreciate that. Doing their best to keep everybody as equal as they can. Wow. Monster Energy truck of Glenn Burden coming off high and fast. Brennan Dan, I thought he was going over there to try to get him a quick game of Indy Heat in. He's rushing over there. The other day, he was burning that baby down. Him and Tom Payton. It was like a solid brick just hitting the wall there. Hard hits here at Lanes Raceway. I don't know about y'all, but back in the day, I used to go to the dirt track, watch Gabriel race and stuff. And I would always just, like, in the back of my mind, just kind of hope that there would be a wreck, and they never failed at Windy Hollow. That's where we would usually go. It never failed. There was always a wreck. And sometimes, man, it was pretty bad. Now, you don't ever hope that anybody gets hurt, but you always kind of like to see body panels fly. Especially whenever the guys, they have those body panels fly, and then they get out of the car, and they're like, I don't know how anybody could survive that. And they get out and they start waving and running. It always made me laugh, like they were happy that their car got destroyed. It's like they even know that in the back of their mind that they're kind of coming there to see some wrecks too. And it just so happened this weekend, it was them that had the wreck. A lot of people wrecking tonight. A lot of people kind of just leaking off the track there. Brennan Dant getting the exercise of his life. He'll be ready for baseball practice come tomorrow. He might as well just stay over there. Alicia, I'm definitely going to let him know that. Brennan does definitely need to know that it is experience. And it ain't killing him, so it's going to make him tougher for sure. Whew. Several cars getting busted up there at Dead Man's Corner. It's just been a tough race. I guess everybody here could agree that's watching. It's been a tough race for these guys. These heavy cars, maybe not the best thing anymore. they got them so heavy with protection wire to keep them from bending when they wreck. I almost think it's causing them to wreck. They're just so heavy going around there, and it's just nonstop. Every lap turned almost. Gerald Suttle, long reach for Gerald Suttle there. Getting his car back on there. Tony the Tiger. But I will say this, these cars have picked up a lot of speed. Just in this past series alone, everybody trying to push and get their cars to go faster and faster. I almost think the best thing that they could do instead of trying to go faster and faster is find a way to keep their car in the track versus going faster. Kind of the old adage of back in the day, we would race Gran Turismo, and we was always wanting to make our cars go super fast, but then we get them so fast they wouldn't even take a corner. So I'm thinking that's what's going on here. These gear ratios are stretched out so long, there's no brake on these cars. They're carrying the speed, and they're carrying it too much. You're being too aggressive coming out of the corners, causing their cars to split off every single lap here coming out of Dead Man's Corner, because they're trying to keep up with so-and-so that's on a higher lane that's able to leave a little bit quicker, because they're all running the same gear ratio. So they're thinking they're getting lapped, but in actual reality, they'd catch them up by the end of the track if they would just run their lane. But like I said, it's an intermediate race for sure, and it's hard to tell people to run their own lane because you can see the other cars. You just got to know yourself, know what your car can do on that said lane, and as long as you're running that, you'll be doing good. You'll see this with some of the guys like Paul Woosley, Bruce Willington, Randy Kirtley. You'll see that they're not coming off a whole lot, and the reason why is they're running their own lane. And when they run their own lane, they don't come off a lot. And the reason why is because they're keeping their car smooth. They're going around the track nice and easy. They're not trying to race every single person that comes up beside them. Some of the other guys, they struggle with that a little bit. They'll eventually learn it. Just as long as you're in the sport and you stay with it, you'll eventually learn these small nuances of racing. You'll say, hey, one time your mind will click and say, hey, I made it around that a lot better just by staying smooth. And when you do that, you end up, doing a lot better. Glenn Burden out in the lead right now, 373 laps, running a real good race here. We're in the 60s in every one of his every one of his heats for the most part. Orange, he ran 57 there. He's got 2 heats left to go. Randy Kirtley there with 355, about 20 or so laps down from him, running in the 60s too. Had a horrible white lane with 36 as he had to pull his car off. Tom Payton there running in 3rd place with 298. At your top 3, everybody else pretty close to the same. So other people, Brendan, of course, having a horrible night here, and we do definitely feel bad for Brendan. Only running 67, but every lap that he can run will help his average as he progresses in the series. So thanks for rooting for Brendan. Brendan, you had somebody rooting for you, man. One sec. Alicia, also called the twins, said, go, Brendan. Don't quit. If anything, it's experience under your belt. So there you go, man. Minute 29 seconds. I'm going to help Brendan with his car real quick and get him back out there racing. All right. Brennan's back out there, hopefully. It's taking care of it. I'm glad we didn't have any wrecks there to say. Well, I got back just in time. Easy with the track, ladies and gentlemen. Easy with the track. Working on making things work here. That's their attempt to making me getting me to turn the track back on for them. Ain't gonna happen, ladies and gentlemen. Ain't gonna happen. Got to keep it fair. Got to keep it fair. I'm in control of this track. It's the Wild West, and I'm the sheriff. Get your cars fixed, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I got to say. If you're going to race in the series, have them ready. Have them fresh and true. I said, well, there's so many wrecks that take place on that track, you know. Well, I mean, I can't control, and neither can you control the other people's car. But we can look ahead and run consistent. That is something that we can control. Our own stuff. So I root for every one of these guys. I hope every one of them wins, but it's just not possible. Somebody's going to win, somebody ain't. But I work on everybody's car the same as if it was my own, trying to make it as fast as I possibly can. And I almost think that there's somewhat of a detriment there. We're making these cars so fast, they're going beyond what the tires can do for the weight that these things are carrying. We're basically turning these cars into drivers' cars, and we haven't stepped up our game. I say that, but then we see all these cars are fixing to cluster. I knew as soon as they was clustering it was going to be a wreck. And that's just simply because nobody's going to lift. These guys are just racing with true grit for sure, 100%. They want the laps, they need the laps. It's the average in them. You know, they got to get that average T. They get that average up, and they know it fares them well. Makes them move up the podium. I guess we put some passion into them. If you get right down to it, we put the passion in these racers, didn't we, T? This little handicap has made people hungry, ladies and gentlemen. We might not ever go back. That is right. T just said it. The hunger of these racers. We got snacks here at Lanes Raceway.
I'll sell them.
So Glenn Burden having some issues now with his car. We hope he gets that fixed out and working free. He's gotten a lot of popular press when it comes to his body. Everybody loves Glenn Burden's monster body. He wants to make another one for his GTP class. But yeah, I mean, the passion is real with these racers. What's everybody doing coming off the track for? All right, here we go. They're all spreading out pretty good now. They can probably run some good laps there. We see Paul Woosley allowing that pass to be taken by Bruce Bullington. Bruce Bullington's car running really good there on purple, able to pass Paul. Paul's car been fast all night long. Like I said, has him a fresh motor, fresh stomp motor. Almost messing up there coming out. If they cluster up a little bit, we might see a wreck here shortly. And a wreck right behind Brennan there as that car comes full speed off. That's the car of Nathaniel Burden's. We just blueprinted him a chassis earlier. I think it was Eddie's old car. We'll see if he uses that later. As that car is full-blown bent now, or it wouldn't have jumped out like that, or it's a braid issue. See if that fixes the issue there. His dad, Glenn Burden, getting him straightened up there. Daddies love their sons, that's for sure. If you're a daddy, definitely love your son or daughter. But in this case, son. Glenn does love Nathaniel through and through. We all love Nathaniel. Seemed like whatever Glenn did to that car made that baby stay in the track. So Glenn took care of Nathaniel pretty good that time. Glenn currently in the lead, 414 laps there, 59.1 average. Tom Payton there right behind him with a 60.2. He's got 2 heats left to go. Tom, a blistering pace out there tonight. Him and Bruce Bullington both. Bruce Bullington 60.2. Randy Kirtley, 2 heats left to go. He's got 59.2. Between these three, it's gonna be really, really close between these three. Glenn Burden, 1 heat left. It's really gonna be close with him even. It just really depends on how fast Glenn goes on red. And I'll tell you this much: when it goes to the upper lanes, I know we kind of suffered there a little bit on white lane, but the upper lanes and the lower lanes, Glenn Burden's really quick. Like I said, Glenn Burden there on purple, 64 laps turn. Bruce Bullington beating him out though. Bruce Bullington, he's done some stuff to his car. Now I'm not going to express over the stream what he's done because I know our racers watch his stream, but it's all within the rules, and it's definitely working for him today. So we'll see how Bruce finishes. Bruce probably finish in the top 3 for sure unless something catastrophic happens. Taking over to the oval cam, I'm going to take a small break and I'll be right back with you. All right, we got to pause the track. We got to braid up. We're going to get some glue real quick and get that rolled in, and then we'll continue on. Okay. She knows where everything is.
What am I suffering?
It's next door. Lockabana. Get it? Little Pappy, he takes care of everything. All right. Lisa said, "Thanks, Donovan. No predicting. LOL." Did I predict? I probably did. I can't help it. It's just like whenever you go to the real races, which, I mean, these are real races, let's face it. These guys have the same kind of passion, the same kind of heart. The only difference is they're not paying thousands of dollars to race or, coming out here and racing for hundreds versus thousands. So I probably did predict, but I did the same thing back in the dirt track days. I'd get out there, we'd be at Nebo, and I was always rooting for my brother. Even if I knew he wasn't going to win, I was always rooting for him. I was like, no, he's going to beat him. And he would get up there, and pressure would arise, and Glenn would say he's about to fall apart, and he would, and he'd choke. And
Hey, I'll keep it clean. I won't tell you what he actually does.
Glenn said he'll keep it clean. He want to tell you exactly what he does. There you go, Alicia. Yes, call it as though they are. Let's go, Dad. Well, in that case, for years, me and my wife have been saying we are going to have a kid. I said, I can't wait till we have kiddos. When our kiddos come, I say stuff like that all the time. And I think the Lord's going to bless us with kids one way or the other. I don't really care how at this point in life, but I know it's coming. Lord always constantly thinks good of us, His own, and you know, I'm blessed to be surrounded by such good men. All these men are really good, upstanding men. Glenn, like I was just talking about, he likes to talk about Gabe a little bit, but Gabriel, Glenn, Dad, they were a trio for years, racing dirt. And, I mean, there's this true love there. Amongst all of us racers, there's this true love there.
All righty, Donnie D.
Ready? All right, I'm going to pause the delay. We're going racing. It has been a difficult night tonight, though, for these racers on the oval track. The orange track was beautiful. These guys were just running just beautifully on the orange track. It's almost like their cars were perfectly set up for the orange track. I do encourage the guys to have a car each, so one for the orange track and one for the oval. It can be somewhat more expensive for sure to set them up likewise, but nonetheless, if you can do that and you can afford it, it's just better on you. It's better on the way that you prep your cars. Come out, spend some time on each one of the tracks, and set the cars up the best way that you know how. Make them run as quick as you can. We got these races. Everybody can see these races and check out whether or not their times are comparable to really quick times. And that's how I would do it. If I was going to do it, I would have me a notepad out here, and I would want to know: am I just turning that fast time once in a blue moon, or am I turning it more consecutive, or am I a little bit slower with this lap time? I'm not able to reach that faster lap time, but I'm staying more consistent. See, that's the way I would set my car up. If I can keep my car consistently quick versus being the fastest. Because the fastest, you can be the fastest, but it might not handle that good. You just got to do what's right for you. And the more experience you have, the more practice you do, the better it ends up being. And I think the guys just had everything aligned when it come to the orange track tonight. All their cars were just perfectly set up good for the orange track. We went through that orange track perfectly. We come over here to the orange track, and it's just like, they wasn't meant to turn left. They were meant to swish-swash back and forth because they was not meant to turn left. What is it? Harry Hog T, Days of Thunder? Loose is fast, and too loose, you're out of control, you know. Same principle. Ed, man, that car's been fast tonight, but it just straight walled the high banks there. Whether or not that body got disturbed by another racer or what, it come full speed there into the high banks corner of the track. We have been spraying the track. We have been gluing it. We have been vacuuming it out the holes. It's just, I'm not going to say 100% is on the driver because it isn't. These tracks are old. I don't know exactly how old this track is, but you can see it has a lot of wear. It's been beat up. The braid on some of it, just where the guys are coming off so hard there in Dead Man's Corner and right there. Ooh. Was that a full J? One car shy of a full J, ladies and gentlemen. One car shy of a full J. Looks like Bruce Bullington. No, two cars. Clay Dame also on purple. He stuck it in there. Or no, that's Bruce Bullington on purple. So that was... wait, no, we got a car back there on blue. Gerald Settle. He stayed in the lane. Everybody else wrecked. So one car shy of a full J. One car shy of a full J. Racer's back at it. Woo, I just saved Ed's life there. He didn't know it, but I did. Well, something, maybe I didn't. Maybe I just stopped the flow of traffic there. Ed was actually on red, but he was moving so fast I thought there was a short there. So that's my fault. Forgive me, guys, if you're watching this. I'm not perfect. They're all got them a good rhythm going here towards the end, past couple heats here. Nice clean pass by, oh, well, I say clean, but then Paul ended up coming out there. But I thought it was a nice clean pass on the inside there done by Clay. But I think he got just a little bit of a tap there on Paul Woosley on yellow. Paul Woosley coming back with a vengeance. Seagulls make the pass on the outside. I heard a car flying. I didn't see it as I was focused in a little bit on a couple of the other cars there. It's like Glenn Burden's got it in his hands. Oh, I am definitely my dad's son. He's over there cracking jokes too about how much wrecks are going on. Love it. That's racing. That's part of the fun of slot car racing too. Is you're never happy when you're the guy that's coming off all the time. But at the same time, the way my mind works, if I'm the guy coming off all the time, that's a problem to be solved. And there's accolades to be done with that too. Like if I get that problem solved, I feel a whole lot better. Hey, my wife says if I got a problem, she'll solve it.
Check out the beat. Check out the mic while the DJ.
She says check out the mic while the DJ revolves it. She's singing songs now.
I was like, baby.
Yeah, that was definitely Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles back in the 90s there, T. My wife just bought me a new Hawaiian shirt, Flamingos, Miami Vice. Glenn getting Clay's car put back on in a quick fashion there. I tried to stop that before it became a big issue. Evidently, I didn't need to. 2 seconds left to go in this heat. We'll be moving on to the next one. Looks like Bruce climbing up the pack there, ladies and gentlemen. Tom Payton's got one more heat left to go. Bruce has got 2 left to go with 368. Looking very good there with 61.3. Bruce, whew, I'm not going to do it, Alicia. I'm not going to do it. But I want to. Bruce is making the hands sweat, I'm sure. I'm sure you're watching Bruce and the hands are sweating. It's Super Bowl. And it's coming down to the end. The commercials are over. We got 8 of 10 heats. 2 more heats left to go. Tom's got 1. Glenn's got 1. Bruce has got 2. And Paul's got 2. These guys are 10 laps from each other. Randy Kirtley's got 2. Randy had such a horrible time on white. I don't think he can make it up, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be tough. 58.3, Ed, Hal, Clay, Dane. These guys are in the mix a little bit too. They got 2 heats left to go. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. But nonetheless, it's shaping up to be a pretty good final here on the circle track. These next 2 heats, it's nothing but business. We're going to be focusing in right out of the gate, definitely on Bruce Bullington. See how things go. Minute and 26 seconds. We see the nerves are not that high out there. These guys are casual. We got Paul Woosley there, hands crossed on his head, lean back. We see Glenn Burden over there at the liar's table with Randy Kirtley and Paul. All of them just chit-chatting about the good old days. I don't know what they're talking about. See Nathaniel, also known as Natty Ice, over there underneath the American flag. He's doing some stuff. But everybody's just kind of laid back, having a good time. Tom Payton, he's never laid back, man. He is all about racing 24/7. It's fishing and it's racing. That's all that goes through Tom's mind. He's blowing on motors. He's probably checking new gear ratios right now on his phone. Right now at Dead Man's Corner, he is looking at gear ratios. I almost want to call him in here and be like, what are you looking at? He'd probably come in here with a Nissan Skyline or something on his phone. Oh, I just seen this new wrap, man. This dude loves racing. He loves the environment too. Ed Howe there. Of course, he's probably fresh off work. Everybody lining back up, having a little friendly chit chat before they get serious. My hands are starting to sweat. I'm starting to get a little hype over here, T. These last 2 heats are going to be pretty cool.
You don't think it's that gallon of soda you're drinking?
Well, the gallon of soda is helping. Well, it's actually 1 quart, 32 ounces. But you gotta love it. It's racing. Drinking soda and racing. That's what we like. Oh, fresh out of the gate, we get a track. Alicia says, now I want to know what Tom's looking at. Thank you, sir. All right. Let's take a look here on Yellow Lane. Bruce Bullington, that baby is flying tonight. Like I said, ooh, and Ed Howe, he cannot stop from getting involved in incidents. Ed Howe just catching every wreck that somebody's wrecking. He hits those wrecks. He's having just one of those nights where he can't buy a bucket. He's on the wrong side of luck tonight for sure.
But if you notice, every time Ed Howe wrecks, he still has a smile on his face.
Oh, Ed, he loves it. He don't care if he's wrecking or not. Ed, if he's wrecking, he's having a good time. If he's driving good, he's having a good time. You just hate to see it, you know. You'd like to see him be able to dodge a wreck or two, you know. It seems like tonight, though, every wreck that's taking place, he's catching them, you know. It's a shame. Yeah. Well, he knows the game. He knows how slot car racing is. And his car is completely shut down right there. That's another disappointment there for sure. Bruce Bullington, actually, I think he hit Glenn Burton's hand there. Kind of softened the blow a little bit. Tony said people have made Facebook comments. Are comments merged or turned on? Not sure how that works. I'm only seeing Twitch comments currently. Let me take a look here as I continue. Like it might have disconnected. I don't know. All I can say is maybe check it out now. So I get a rider there. One way I can check, let me swap over real quick to the road stream. Okay. Cool as ice, Chelsea. That's what Tony said. Jay Latham said, ice, ice, baby. Deborah Suttle said, go, Gerald. Subtle, I'm rooting for you. Deborah's rooting for Gerald. Zach and Amy Dance said, Brandon, keep your head up, son. Jay Latham said, go, Bruce. Tony said, love you, Bruce. And those are our Facebook comments. So for some reason or another, they're coming in. They're coming in on our road race stream, but I'm not seeing them on our layout wizard here. That's something I'm definitely going to have to check into. I'm sorry about that, too. Several track calls called there. A little slow to the gun. I'm moving between screens here. I'm doing the best I can. Maybe next time I'm definitely going to have to set a dedicated track marshal for sure, I believe. That isn't a racer. I hate to let a racer be a track marshal, just simply because, you know, they've got coin in it. You know what I mean? You don't want to let a racer be a track marshal just simply because of that. Now, I'm not saying they would do other racers dirty, but I'm just saying let's just eliminate that variable altogether. There's no reason to having it. If we can, whoa. So Tom Payton felt that graze up against his kneecap there. Randy Kirtley bending down to grab that. 3 cars involved in the incident. Looks like Gerald Suttle's Tony the Tiger. Clay Dame's little yellow stripe there, high-vis stripe car getting involved in it. And Randy Kirtley. 1 minute and 2 left to go. After this heat rolls down, we'll check the comments off of the road race. And maybe I can copy that that source over and get it going on here. I don't know why it's not showing up on the sources here. So it's technically copied from here to the road race, which is kind of surprising why it's working on the road race, but it isn't working here, being that the source was copied from here. It's all set to automatic. I'm not a computer genius. My brother is. Another track call there. Said with passion. Track. Really loud. Looks like Lynn Burden there trying to help Ed Howe out. But Ed's decided that he's going to work on it himself. We're going to move on. Ooh. Tony the Tiger come off with Clay Dane, Tom Payton, and Brennan Dant involved in that incident. Big booms, big booms. See Randy Kirtley there. It's a good practice for each racer to know each time something like that happens, they do need to look down there where their controllers are hooked up. There's a breaker there. When you look down there where the breaker's at, make sure it ain't popped, because sometimes that can cause issues and cause the breakers to trip. So you want to make sure always that your breaker is pushed in. It's just a little black circle there. Because if it is up, you ain't going to have any brake. That is for sure. You will have zero brake. Nathaniel Burden there with the hook of life. Shepherd's hook, grabbing that car and getting her back up on Purple Lane. Tony the Tiger, also known as Gerald Suttle. That Tony the Tiger truck last series race was really, really quick. Of course, Gerald got involved in some incidents, kind of experienced some luck similar to how Ed did last week. And this happens, you know. Said, if you go over about 12 people, it becomes an issue. You almost need to run 2 heats at that point. We're at 10. We're right at the sweet spot, really, because now you got 2 people off for track marshal, and it kind of keeps everybody still equal. 10 is really the sweet spot when it comes to racing 8-laners. Uh-oh. We got the pro at work here, Glenn Burden. I ain't ever seen him not hook a car good. Oh, that's a first. Glenn didn't hook it on first try, T.
He ain't hooking no more.
No, he ain't hooking no more. Not like he used to. Uh-oh, he's got to turn back over. It's like a turtle on its back. We're adding too much anticipation. Oh, and he's got it by the front wheel. I'll tell you what, let a pro get it. Glenn Burden. He's trying to teach his son a thing or two. I think Nathaniel actually said he's cheating. Which, I mean, he makes it look so easy. It looks like he's cheating with that shepherd's hook. He is a veteran at hooking, for sure. All right, and a nice little gentle push there from Nathaniel, also known as Natty Ice, on blue. Ooh, I'm surprised there wasn't a little bit of a love nudge there on that blue lane from Brennan, giving it a... Yep, he did. He gave Paul the old love tap, and then Paul turned in kind and gave Brennan the old tap of love. That was a Gabriel Kirtley move if I've ever seen one. I've seen that before, live. I was at the dirt track one time. This guy roughed Gabriel up, and roughed him up to a point where he really wasn't going to win the race. Watched my brother drive his car out there and straight send that dude selling. If they're both neck and neck again, Brennan and Paul just kind of decided he wanted to take a right turn there. That wasn't Brennan's fault that time. That was just simply Paul's truck, probably bent from the altercation between him and Brennan earlier. But Bruce Bullington flying there on yellow, ladies and gentlemen, as he reeling everybody in the rudder in. Yet again, I probably shouldn't say person's name. Every time I say anybody's name, they wreck their vehicle. So we'll go back green racing, and I'll just maybe say the color of their vehicle. So we're going to look at this copper-colored vehicle. I'm not going to even tell you what lane it's on, but it's by the crook of the track going into Dead Man's Corner, back out of Dead Man's Corner. Going around the high banks there, we get a red flag, and we're rolling on. Tom Payton currently in the lead. He's finishing up this time. So Bruce has a chance to get there. 61.3. Paul Woosley and Glenn Burden both have a chance to get there too. And Randy Kirtley. It's going to be close, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be real close. Oh, hey, let me put it on TrackMate so you can see what I can see, so you're not looking like they're little ants on the screen. But like I said, Tom Payton, 59 laps. He's going to finish off with 472 laps, respectable. Bruce Bullington there in second place, 61.3 average with 429 laps right now. One heat left to go, orange. That's a quick heat runner too, as long as he stays out of trouble. Paul Woosley there on white, kind of not a good position to be in lane-wise, but him and Glenn Burden battling. They're both in not a good position. Randy Kirtley not in the best position either. It's going to be pretty close between those three, Paul, Glenn, and Randy. Not any of them really have really great positioning there. Clay Dane with 58.3s in good positioning there for yellow to make up some of those laps on Randy and Glenn and Paul. Minute and 38 seconds. Like I said, it's really a nail biter. Quite a few things happening here just in the past heat. We're going to move over to the road race live stream, see if anybody from Facebook's been saying anything. Tony says, Brennan, good job, brother. You went from 91 laps to over 200. Yeah, good job, Brennan. Tony's congratulating you. Tony Gaddis. Jay Latham, Ice Baby, all the way, man. Ice Baby and the War Zone. Jay Latham. Me and Jay Latham, we're War Zone buddies. We get in there and we get completely destroyed like old men. But I guess that's okay because we are. That might just be our new War Zone name, Ice Baby. Every time we go there, Team Ice Baby. Deborah Suttle, go Gerald Suttle. Zach, Amy, Dan, Brennan, keep your head up, man. Keep your head up, son.
That's my dad.
All right. Well, your dad said keep your head up, dude. You're doing good. Jay Latham, go Bruce. And Tony, love you, Bruce. All right. I think we're caught up there. Back to the oval stream there.
Okay, you got this.
10 of 10. It all boils down to this, ladies and gentlemen. 10 of 10. Like I said, this is the one where we really want to focus in on what Bruce can do. Is he's got to try his best to reel in Tommy T. Tommy the Kid Tornado. That copper-colored car is flying out there, ladies and gentlemen. They're on orange. Ain't nobody able to touch him. As he's got a best lap of 1.912. Not the fastest lap, as guys underneath him are turning a little bit quicker, but nonetheless, ooh. I'm scared to commentate this race.
Just do initials.
I can't even do that. I'm doing the color of the body, literally.
Do initials, because there's all kinds of B's and D's. Is everybody wearing a hat? Is everybody wearing a hat out there?
Paul's not wearing a hat. Paul's literally the only one that isn't wearing a hat. All right. I'm just going to watch this final heat. Will you guys watch this final heat with me? It says Randy ain't in.
struggling down there.
It's doing actually pretty good. It's at 49%. We're good. So that was a breakout on Randy's lane. So whoever that was riding needs to go behind the start finish line. It was Paul. I was nervous to even say his name.
Well, if you want to say the Paulin's name, you can say Lucy. Because that's what they used to call him.
Well, we got 2 cars off right there.
They used to call him Lucy. I don't know.
Oh! I saw that happen there, ladies and gentlemen, coming out of the crook of the track. I was quick enough behind the trigger to get her going on. But a little bit of an altercation between 2 racers. Won't mention their names.
Huh? Well, I don't know. Just call him.
What a pass.
I'm gonna tighten that up. Sure, just take that one out for this one. I'm gonna tighten that. It's not very much good. That's a great script.
These guys are racing like their life depends on it. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. 10 of 10. Bruce was able to do it. 490 laps. Bruce Bullington back in his streak form. Let me get you to the track, mate, so you can see what I see here. Bruce Bullington, 490 laps. Randy Kirtley, 475. Clay Dane, 472. Tom Payton, 472. Tom and Clay, please leave your cars where they are located. So we're going to go out there real quick, and I'm going to talk to a few of the racers. I want to move over to the oval cam real quick. My wife's got a picture here. I'm going to talk to a few of the racers and see you here very shortly.
Finger boxed. And I do.
Ready?
I got to talk to both of you.
Hey, be careful.
Clay Dane, Tommy T, the kid. What does this feel like to you?
I don't really know. I'm right there. That's me and Clay right there.
That's both of y'all right there? So literally, I don't know about you, but I think we're going to have to call that a tie. I mean, that is so close. I mean, because if I look like this, Clay, he loses. But if I look like this, you lose. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's a tie if I've ever seen it. The tie here at Lanes Raceway. We can officially call our tie the Tom and Clay. Like Tom and Clay, but Tom and Clay.
Sounds good to me.
What about you, Tom?
I'm good with it.
All right, the Tom and Clay. We just have Tom and Clay here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, on the back stretch. But the man of the hour, Bruce the Streak Bullington. Bruce the Streak Bullington. Can I have a word, man? The old signature streak move. I like it. We got a lot of fans out there right now. They're rooting you on Facebook and on Twitch. Would you like to say anything to your fans?
Well, keep watching. Come on down the lanes and have some fun and support this community and this track, and we'll have a good time.
Well, I got another question for you. What's the secret in the truck? I didn't want to tell people the secret, and maybe you still don't, but maybe you want to let everybody know what the secret is of the truck, or maybe you want to keep it secret.
Well, I'll tell you, my motor is shot, and it's about to go, so I'll have a new one in next week, so we'll see what that does.
So did you do like Jay and just straight up full-fledged voodoo it and hope for the best?
I did.
Jay knows what I'm talking about. He was here last week, and his motor was just crying on this track, and he decided, well, I'm not going to make it all the way through, so I might as well just douse it with half a bottle of voodoo, and so he did. But anyways, a lot of events took place tonight here at Lanes Raceway. A really good orange track race. A really good orange track race and a really kind of hard oval race here tonight. But we're going to get all of these laps organized up. We're going to get them all averaged out. We're going to have it posted on Facebook. Anytime you guys see us racing these series races, come on down. Just like Bruce said, hang out with us. Have a good time with everybody. And like I said, what a great night. What an exciting moment there at the end. See Bruce back in good form, doing his usual streak moves there. I don't know if you guys caught that on the screen. That's his signature streak move, the running man. Tom, few words tonight. Clay, as you can see where Clay is there on yellow lane, literally the sticker is somewhere like right here. Next to the front of his car. I didn't really want to make a justification that Clay won or Tom won, just simply because it was so close. It was really, really close. And a sticker is a sticker. It's not really a front bumper. So anyways, those guys, our first tie here at Lanes Raceway. It's exciting. And all these guys enjoying themselves. But this is Donovan Kirtley at Lanes Raceway. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time here at Lanes Raceway. God bless you.